Forget New Year, New You. This season is about slowing down, locking the doors, and cozying up at home with the one you really want to do nothing with. Your dog. After the holiday chaos, those quiet nights with a blanket, a podcast, and your pup feel like the reset you actually need. Ollie helps make those moments easier with fresh protein-packed meals made from real human-grade ingredients, so your dog can enjoy some quality comfort food too. Choose from 5 recipes and get a personalized plan for your dog's needs. Meals arrive perfectly proportioned with a scoop and storage container, so serving is fast and mess-free. And with Ollie's in-app on-demand health screenings, supporting your dog is easy, ensuring more cuddles for many years to come. Visit ollie.com/truecrime and use code TRUECRIME for 60% off your first box.
Lindley and Ben Renick first met in high school. They may not have been friends, but acquaintances. It wasn't until more than 3 years later their paths crossed again on Facebook. By that time, Lindley had already had a baby and began her career as a massage therapist. Ben, while working for his father on the farm, had also begun a career in the reptile business. When the two reconnected, they hit it off, and very soon a relationship began. In 2012, they welcomed their own child, a daughter. 2 years later, they were married. And 3 years later, Ben was dead. On June 8, 2017, deputies with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department were called to Ben's business, Renick Reptiles. Lindley had called them just after 6:30 p.m. She said she had found her husband lying in a pool of blood, dead. Lindley then called Ben's brother Sam, who ran right over. Sam told officers that one of the reptiles may have gotten loose. It looked like a snake attack. Deputy Harley Hawes was one of the first officers on the scene.
Prior to your arrival at Renick Reptiles, were you given information that there was possibly a 500-pound anaconda on the loose?
Yes, I was.
So when you arrive, what's the first thing you do?
The first thing we do is walk up to the structure, of course. We make contact with a female outside that we later find out is Lindley Renick. She's hysterical. So we go into the building and we start searching for this snake that is allegedly on the loose.
Eventually, they determined there wasn't a snake on the loose, and that what they were dealing with wasn't some sort of accident.
As I approached the body, we were still under the pretense that this was a snake attack, and so whenever I entered there, we came to the body. I removed the sheet from the foot to the head and then observed the body. I crouched down to take a closer look, and when I did this, I then saw some divots in the floor. I also saw some injury to the face that I would say was more consistent with not a snake injury, but a gunshot wound. And then I saw a shell casing on a shelf just above the decedent's head.
Ben had been shot to death. According to prosecutors in Montgomery County, Missouri, it wasn't the first time Ben's life had been in danger.
You've had this conversation about murdering him. How does that conversation wind up with you two actually attempting to kill Ben Renick?
She had gone over a couple different, possibilities, and it didn't really seem like any of those were likely. So she kind of suggested or brought it up that maybe she should poison him.
Ben had been poisoned weeks earlier, but when that didn't kill him, prosecutors said his killer developed another plan. A plan that involved multiple people. A plan that apparently worked. Ben was dead. But the defense team in this case would later claim in court that their client was innocent.
There is nothing more sad and more tragic than an innocent person being convicted of something they did not do.
By the time the trial was over, the jury would hear from all those involved, including the alleged killer. Would they be able to decide who was telling the truth? This is Jillian, and in partnership with Law and Crime, you are listening to Court Junkie, episode 190. Investigators with the Missouri Highway Patrol arrived at the scene later that night. There were no signs of forced entry, no broken windows or doors, and it didn't appear as though anything had been taken. Ben's wife, Lindley Renick, was there, and by all accounts, she was in hysterics. One investigator would later say in court that he witnessed her throwing up. Because she was present, Lindley's hands were tested for gunshot residue. The tests were negative. The investigation ramped up over the next few days. Investigators interviewed friends, family members, and neighbors from around the property. Eventually, the case seemed to go cold. No one was arrested, and the police, despite interviewing everyone they could think of, reached dead end after dead end. Investigator Nathaniel Schaefer found that there had been problems in Lindley and Ben's marriage. The two had opened a spa called Essentia in Columbia, Missouri. Lindley ran the business, and it was failing. She was facing a lawsuit. Investigator Schaefer also discovered messages from Lindley on Facebook from just a couple days before Ben's murder.
Can you describe that conversation as you've seen it in this document?
Basically, Ben is asking if Lindley even likes him. She says yes, she loves him. And then she says that she feels unsafe and doesn't trust that he won't take his aggression out on her. And then he says he's never done anything to make her feel that way.
It was a sentiment, however, that Lindley's business manager and friend, Ashley Shaw, backed up when investigators spoke with her. She said Lindley told her that Ben had sexually assaulted her.
She came to the spa one morning and said that she had woke up in the middle of the night and he was on top of her, inside of her, raping her while she was asleep.
So we're talking about a month prior to June 8th.
Yes.
Investigators had their suspicions about Lindley, but they didn't have much to go on. Until about 2 years later, when they got a tip that Lindley had been the shooter. They went back and interviewed Ashley Shaw again. This time, she asked for an attorney, and an immunity agreement was worked out. And that's when she really started talking. Ashley sat down with investigators and told them what she said Lindley had told her.
What plan did Lindley report to you, having come up with Michael, to kill her husband?
That they were going to, I think it was originally going to happen in the morning, and they were going to meet up, I believe, and then go to the facility, his business, and kill him there. It kind of changed a little bit throughout the process.
And so finally a day is actually decided upon, and it actually occurs, correct?
Correct.
And that's June 8th, 2017.
Yes.
Lindley was charged with first-degree murder in July 2020. She was released on house arrest and ordered to wear a GPS monitoring unit until her trial, which began in December 2021. In her opening statements, prosecutor Kelly King told the jury that Lindley had shot Ben 8 times and that it wasn't the first time she had tried to kill him. She said Lindley was the sole beneficiary of a $1 million life insurance policy on Ben, and that she felt like she couldn't divorce him. Ben controlled their money, and she feared he would get the kids. She told the jury that Lindley and Ashley came up with a plan to poison Ben by putting crushed-up Percocet pills in his protein shake. Ben got violently ill but didn't die, so they came up with Plan B, which was to go to Lindley's ex-boyfriend, Michael Humphrey. Then on June 8th, she said Michael and Lindley went to the reptile facility, where Lindley killed him.
Ben goes back to the back of this facility. Lindley follows him and shoots him 8 times. At least 4 of those shots are in the back. She gets in the car with Michael Humphrey. She leaves. They go back to Columbia. Michael Humphrey takes her back to the spot where he picked her up. And he goes home. She sends him text messages. I hope you got home okay. Come in tomorrow for another massage. After this is all done, then she heads back to Montgomery County because now the school has called and somebody's got to pick up her children. She knows her husband is dead.
She said Lindley then picked up her 2 kids from school and took them to the reptile facility. She didn't take the kids inside, but she went in, and after seeing Ben dead on the floor, she called 911. Prosecutor King said that as a trooper was looking through Lindley's phone, he saw text messages from her to Mike Humphrey and asked her who that was. Lindley said she used to massage his mom. Then she changed her story and said he had reached out and wanted a massage. Prosecutor King told the jury that the case went cold for about 2.5 years. Then, in the beginning of 2020, they got a tip that Lindley was the shooter, and so they went back and re-interviewed Ashley Shaw. Prosecutor King said Ashley did horrible things and was complicit in this murder. But she was the first one to talk and will testify as to what had happened. After Ashley told police about their attempts to poison Ben, they found text messages from Ben to Lindley, referencing that he had been violently ill. Once they were able to corroborate parts of Ashley's story, they then had a case against Lindley Renick. Prosecutor King said that a couple weeks ago, Michael Humphrey said he wanted to cooperate too. He is also complicit in this murder, she said.
Michael Humphrey is going to testify and tell you what happened. In exchange for that, instead of a life sentence without parole, he's going to be convicted of murder in the 2nd degree and serve a life sentence with parole.
She said Michael's story was the same as Ashley's and that he handed over the gun to investigators. Lindley's defense attorney, Timothy Hessman, said during his opening statements that nothing is more sad and tragic than an innocent person being convicted of something they didn't do. He told the jury that it's important to know the types of people Lindley and Ben Renick were. Lindley was born in 1988 and grew up in a rural Missouri town. He said she needed to be surrounded by people and got into massage therapy. Before she was 20, she was a single mother. After her boyfriend at the time went to jail, she had her baby on her own. He said Lindley has never been a violent person, that she's the furthest thing away from violence that a person can get. He also said Lindley has zero proficiency or interest in guns. As for Ben Renick, he said he and Lindley were married for about 4 years and had gotten together after Lindley left a toxic relationship with Michael Humphrey. He told the court that Lindley admired Ben and thought he was amazing and good at everything he tried. Ben had started a reptile breeding company as a teenager and was one of the best in the world. Lindley was impressed by that. But he said as time went on, the problems between Lindley and Ben became severe.
Ben is not a violent person by nature, but he is extremely cold to her, and he begins touching her and begins doing things against her will while she's asleep. And it comes from the fact that Ben wants things from her that Lindley Renick does not want to give him. And so these things build and build and build until Lindley starts coming to a sensuous spot with bruises on her arms. And she discusses these problems with Ashley Shaw.
He said Lindley's life was falling apart. Her business and marriage were both going under. She was overwhelmed and started to talk to her friend and business associate Ashley about it. Ashley gave her bad advice, and Lindley started having affairs. He said Ashley eventually advised her to just go ask Ben for a separation, but she told Lindley to take someone with her. They went through a list of people who would be good to go with her to confront him.
Ashley Shaw's boyfriend, Ben, does not like Ben, and Ashley's boyfriend does not want Ashley going to confront Ben at the snake in the reptile house. So they're brainstorming, and they make the very, very unfortunate decision to ask Michael Humphrey to go with Lindley Renick to confront Ben about a divorce.
He said what Lindley didn't know is that since their breakup, Michael had graduated into a violent, meth-addicted career criminal. He said he looked like the same old Michael Humphrey, but he wasn't. Michael agreed to stand there while Lindley confronted Ben. Beforehand, Lindley told him to come to the spa for a couple massages, and he did. Hessman acknowledged that Lindley was being deceptive to Ben at this point. She loved him and sent him loving texts, but in the back of her mind, she knew they weren't compatible.
So that's why there's all this conflict. She's not being deceptive. However, she is being deceptive about her going to separate with Ben. She's not planning a murder. She's planning a divorce.
But he implied that Michael may have been planning something different. He said behind the scenes, Michael got a new cell phone the day prior to the murder and was making comments to his friend, like, "What do you do about somebody abusing their wife? How do you make it stop?"
So Michael Humphrey, unbeknownst to Lindley Renick, is making his own plans.
He told the jury that we don't know what happened between Ben and Michael at the facility that day, while Lindley had briefly went outside to take out the trash.
And it's not clear what passes between Michael and Ben, but it's probably not good, because Ben knows Lindley is not being faithful, and Michael knows Ben is abusing her. So what's very plausible is Ben, being Ben, says something like, "Oh, you must be one of Lindley's boyfriends." Michael doesn't like that. "Oh, you must be the person who's abusing Lindley." Something happens. A gun comes out. Lindley walks in, and she's in the corner, wringing her hands, staring at her shoes, sweating, trying to figure out what's going on, and a shot rings out. Lindley runs outside, more shots ring out, and she screams so loudly that a neighbor a half mile away, named Mike Scarlett, hears her scream.
Hessman said that what happened wasn't registering with Lindley. She left and went back home, texting people on the way. He acknowledged that the text messages are damning, but said in her mind she was trying to convince herself that Ben was okay. About halfway home, she got a call from the school about Ben not having picked up the kids. She started to panic. When she got back to the snake facility, she found Ben dead.
Ben is in a pile of blood. He is on top of the blood pile, on top of the blood, so that whoever shot him very fast before he could run or move or fight or do anything like that. They didn't miss, so they were very accurate. And then after they incapacitated him, they approached Ben and fired two shots directly down. And we know that because on the floor are two divots, indentions, where the bullets passed through Ben's body and struck the floor and caused these divots. Then, after whoever shot him did that twice, they then had the presence of mind to crouch down and put the barrel of the gun up to his temple, an inch or so away, and fire the last shot that basically did what that would do. And what's interesting is you're going to hear testimony that when a gun is fired, there is a discharge of soot about that long that comes from the barrel. And that would mean that if somebody is standing over a body and they shoot, and there's no soot on the body, the gun would have to be 20 to 18 inches above the body. And there's no gunpowder residue on Ben's body except for that shot to the head, which means that whoever was standing over Ben to deliver those two shots was holding the gun at least 18 to 20 inches away from the top of Ben's body. Lindley Renick is 5'3". Michael Humphrey is 6'4".
He said the first investigator who took on the case was Trooper Faust. He called him a thorough, meticulous investigator. He said Trooper Faust found out pretty quickly about Lindley and Michael and didn't buy Lindley's story. They sat down for an interrogation, and he told her that they knew she was lying. But Lindley insisted she didn't do it and didn't know anything about it. Finally, she told them she just wanted a divorce. He said they didn't arrest her at that point because they didn't have enough information. Trooper Faust had a family tragedy, and a new investigator, one he said had never investigated a case in his life, automatically took over. Years passed. Lindley then began a relationship with a man named Brandon Blackwell, who Hessman said was very possessive. One day, Brandon, Lindley, and Ashley all met up. Ashley had just been interviewed by detectives, And she had told them that a few weeks prior to Ben's murder, they had all drank a protein shake and got sick from it. She told them that Ben had been joking about it and saying Lindley had tried to poison him. But Ashley told Lindley and Brandon that she felt like the detectives didn't believe her and that they believed she and Lindley had poisoned Ben. Hessman said Brandon took that information and put it in the back of his mind for a rainy day. Lindley and Brandon's relationship then deteriorated. Lindley took out an order of protection against him. He said Brandon violated the order 12 times and was arrested and released 5 times. While in jail, troopers came and talked to him. They then went to interview Ashley again.
Ashley Shaw is told that if she does not change her statement, she is going to be put through the ordeal of being accused of the most serious crime that is in our system. And I want to point out that what Trooper Schaefer does are 3 things. He tells her what to say or indicates that she should say something incriminating against Lindley Renick. He tells her that she will be punished if she does not say that. And he says, and he doesn't even know if what he wants her to say is true. And I want you to keep in mind that when you tell somebody they are going to be accused of a crime, that would work on anybody. So it's not like Ashley Shaw is caving into the evidence against her or the weight of the evidence against her, or, hey, Ashley, we have you on video. If you went to Tallahassee, Florida, and picked somebody up and drove them to a police station and say this, or we're going to just accuse you of a crime, well, they would say that just to avoid having to hire an attorney, and having to sit in jail, and having to deal with the anxiety of possibly being falsely accused. And they know what they're doing, and that's what they were doing.
Hessman said investigators then told Michael Humphrey that if he helps hammer Lindley, they will make his drug charges go away. And so Michael said Lindley did it too, and investigators believed that was the further corroboration they needed.
And so they're going to parade all these warm bodies in front of you to say that this woman did this, when really all of these people are just using facts that they learned through the course of being around this investigation, and they're using those facts which would apply equally to anybody, and they're using those facts to say she did it in order to get a benefit for themselves.
He promised the jury that at the end, they would see why Lindley could not have done it. Ashley Shaw was one of the state's star witnesses against Lindley Renick. And contrary to what the defense had said in their opening statements, she told the jury that it wasn't the first time Lindley had tried to kill her husband. She knew because she said she helped her.
Tell us how you began. She said you've had this conversation about murdering him. How does that conversation wind up with you two actually attempting to kill Ben Renick?
She had gone over a couple different, possibilities, and it didn't really seem like any of those were likely. So she kind of suggested or brought it up that maybe she should poison him.
And so what were some of these other possibilities or scenarios that she went over with you, if you recall?
She asked if I knew anyone that could get her a gun. I think that's pretty much all. Trying to figure out if she knew someone that had a gun.
So she asked you about if you knew anyone that had a gun?
Yes.
And what did you tell her about it?
No.
When asked why Ashley had tried to help her, she said she felt bad for her.
It was a surreal situation, so it's kind of hard to explain what I was feeling at the time, but it didn't really seem, when I talk about it now, it obviously seems it was real, and at that time it didn't seem that way.
Did you believe her about this rape allegation?
I did, yes.
Did she make any other allegations about Ben physically, mentally abusing her in any ways?
Yes.
What else did she tell you about Ben?
She said that he was very mentally abusive. They would get in arguments a lot, and he would just really kind of dominate the situation and make her feel terrible or bad about different things.
Did you ever see any signs of physical abuse?
No.
No bruising, busted lips, black eyes?
No, sir.
When the poisoning didn't work, she said they needed a new plan. Lindley brought up asking her ex-boyfriend if he would help.
What does she tell you about Michael Humphrey being her ex-boyfriend and why he might be somebody she should seek out to murder her husband, Ben?
She said that he had a prior record of being in trouble, and so she thought maybe he would know someone or hung out with people that had records of being in trouble or, a history, so she thought maybe he would help her.
They showed up at Michael's house. She said at first they engaged in small talk, and Lindley told him Ashley needed speakers hooked up. But once inside, the conversation became something else.
And then at some point, after the small talk sort of ends, the conversation turns to what had just happened the night before.
Yes.
And again, can you tell the jury, as best you can recall, specifically what Lindley Renick said to Michael Humphrey in your presence?
She told him it didn't work, and she wanted to know why, so they discussed that, and then she asked him if he could help her. He asked why she wanted to kill her husband, and so she explained that he was raping her in the night and that they were having a lot of troubles, and then that's when she asked him if he could help her.
I'm sorry? That's
when she asked him if he could help her.
And what exactly did she ask? Did she ask him to do something, or did she just say, "Can I help? Can you help me?"
If he knew anyone that could help her, or if he knew someone that could kill Ben, or knew of a way that she could do it.
And what was his reaction to that?
He was shocked by the whole situation, I think, and then he said that he would think about it.
She said initially Michael wasn't on board, but then he came into the spa.
How is it that you knew he was coming, or did you know he was coming to the spa?
Yes, she told me that he was coming.
Okay. And when did she tell you that?
I believe it was that morning. I can't remember exactly.
Did she tell you why he was coming to the spa that day?
Yes, they were going to discuss further plans about what she asked him to do.
According to Ashley, while Lindley was with Michael, she sent Facebook messages to Ben, asking him to pick up the kids from school. Ashley said Lindley then left her phone behind at the spa on purpose before leaving with Michael.
And tell the jury, according to Lindley, what role her kids were going to play in the murder of her husband.
Lindley was supposed to pick the kids up, but she was going to text Ben that she wasn't feeling well, so then he was supposed to go pick the kids up.
And why was that part of the plan if he was supposed to go pick up the kids?
Because she needed a reason for the school to call her and tell her that he didn't show up.
And why wouldn't he pick up the kids?
Because he wouldn't be alive anymore.
So he was supposed to pick up the kids, but when he gets killed, he can't. The school's going to call her at the spa and say, "Hey, Ben never picked up the kids."
Correct.
And she's going to have what?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
Objection to be overruled. And she was going to have what by being at the spa?
An alibi, I guess, or alibi.
That's a good word for it.
Yeah.
What about you? Were you going to have a role while they were gone? Were you going to play some sort of role in this murder?
She asked me to text Ben from her phone and say that she wasn't feeling well.
And did you text Ben from the phone and saying that?
No.
Why not?
I got scared to text from her phone at all.
You did communicate one time, did you not, with Ben in this manner?
Yes, on the computer.
And how on the computer did you communicate with Ben this one time?
Her Facebook. She logged into her Facebook and it was up.
And so they would use some sort of messenger app on the Facebook.
Yes.
And when in relationship to her being at the spa or not at the spa, did you send this message?
It was right when it wasn't long after she left.
She said when Lindley returned to the spa later, she and Ashley went to the shower room.
And when you get back there with Lindley, what does she tell you or ask you to do?
To scrub her off and shower her.
Does she tell us what happens? I mean, what you see her do?
She took off her clothes and she got on the Vichy shower and she asked me to scrub her body and her hands really well, and she washed her whole body.
And where were her clothes at when this process started?
They were in the room where we were.
Okay.
She put them in a pile there was a little counter in there.
Now, as you're doing this, does somebody come back into that area?
Yes.
Who?
Michael Humphrey.
And when he comes back there, can you tell us what conversation occurs between Michael, Lindley, and you if you're involved?
Yes, he walks in and he says, does she know? Or did you tell her? And Lindley said, no, she doesn't know. And then he quickly left right after that.
What is his attitude or demeanor like?
He was very nervous, ready to get out of there, kind of. I mean, I don't know him very well, but it seemed out of the ordinary, very rushed.
While they were in the shower room, Ashley said Lindley asked her if she wanted to know what happened, and Ashley said sure. Lindley then told her that Michael had killed Ben, and that they then picked up as many shell casings as they could before leaving.
What did she tell you about the gas situation, if you will?
She said on the way to her house, the snake facility, on the way to where she lived, that he didn't have gas in his car, so they had to stop, and she used her debit card to pay for his gas.
And when she was describing that to you, what was her attitude about that?
She was irritated that he wouldn't have gas in his car because now there was a record of her card being used out on the edge of Columbia, outside of Columbia.
She said she had another conversation with Lindley about what happened about a week later. This time, Lindley told her she had killed Ben.
And how is it that this subject came up the second time, a week later?
It was just general conversation, really, and then she said something along the lines of, I didn't think that I could do it. It was kind of a random statement.
So you guys are in the car, and she kind of blurts this random, I didn't think I could do it out.
Yes.
After you heard this random statement, did you know what she was referring to?
Yes.
Okay. What did you believe she was referring to?
To them killing Ben, or what I thought was Michael killing Ben. But.
And in response to the statement, did you say something?
Yes, I said I thought you said that he did it. I didn't think that you said you did it.
So you basically remember the statement from a week before?
Yes.
Where she said Michael had done it?
Yes.
And so you say, well, I thought you said Michael did it?
Yes.
After you question her about that, does she tell you some more information?
Yes.
What does she tell you?
She said that Michael got too nervous or didn't want to do it, and so he handed her the gun and she actually killed him.
And what did she tell you about actually killing him?
She said that she put the gun to his back and shot him several times.
Lindley's attorney, Timothy Hessman, accused Ashley of making the whole thing up. He said during her police interview she was given a choice, Team Lindley or Team Missouri. He had her read from a transcript.
Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
He said, the reason we're here and the reason that you're here is you have been implicated in being a part of Ben's death, and I want you to hear me out before you say anything further.
Keep going.
I said, okay. And he said, we've talked to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor is willing, if you are 100% honest and give information in this homicide that helps us solve it. Basically, he's willing to work with you. Oh, sorry.
Prosecutor's willing to help.
Prosecutor is willing, if you are 100% honest and give information in this homicide that helps us solve it. Basically, he's willing to work with you.
What else does he say?
Otherwise, you would be accessory to first-degree murder, and first-degree accessory to is the exact same charge as first-degree murder.
Keep going.
We're here because we have information that you helped plan and you actually took part in an attempt on Ben's life before Ben was actually killed. So I just want to put that out there and go back and let you be 100% honest.
Keep going.
On what happened, because we know a lot of what happened.
Keep going.
There are arrests are going to be made today. People are going to be in jail for first-degree murder. We've got the warrants typed up and ready to be sent out. So basically now is the time. You're either continue. Can we continue?
Yes.
You're either on Team Lindley or you're on Team Missouri, and Lindley's team is going to jail.
Hessman said there was no plot, that Ashley was telling the court whatever she could to stay out of jail.
That would work on anybody. You could go down to downtown Columbia right now, grab a guy and say, if you don't join Team Missouri, we are going to put you through the ordeal of being charged with first-degree murder. Maybe he gets off after 5 years of sitting in jail, but he would say anything to avoid that, right?
I don't know, sir. I'm sorry.
I think you do know, Ashley, because that's what's going on here, isn't it?
No.
That's what's going on here.
But Ashley wasn't the only witness the state of Missouri called to confirm the plot. Rachel Hunt, who was also given an immunity deal, not only worked at Essentia Spa too, but she lived with Ashley. Rachel told the jury that a few weeks before Ben was murdered, Ashley told her that she and Lindley had tried to poison Ben with pills.
After learning that she and Lindley had tried to kill Ben, what was your reaction?
I was shocked, and I told them I didn't want to be a part of anything.
You told me you didn't want to be a part of it?
Yes.
Did you ask why?
No.
Were you ever told why?
Lindley didn't think that she would get the kids if she tried to divorce Ben.
She said Lindley also told her that she and Michael Humphrey had a plan for June 8th. They were going to take a gun and go shoot Ben.
And where did this conversation between you and Lindley take place at?
At the spa.
And, where at in the spa, if you recall?
Most of the time we were talking out front on the side where we park, kind of down from the front door.
And was anybody else present?
I'm sure Ashley was.
And when you hear this, what is your reaction?
I was shocked.
Rachel said she went into work on June 8th, but the spa had no clients on the books to treat. She testified that it was to cover up the murder plans.
And were you present when Lindley left to go commit this crime?
Yes.
When she left, do you recall anything about how she was dressed or her appearance?
I honestly don't remember.
Rachel said she and Ashley wanted to protect themselves. Once Lindley left the spa with Michael that afternoon, she and Ashley left and ran errands so they could be seen on surveillance cameras.
And why did you want to be on camera?
We wanted to make sure that if anything happened, that they knew that we weren't with her.
And when you say with her, you mean Lindley?
Yes.
And did you, in fact, do that?
Yes.
Do you remember about what time of day Lindley left?
It seems like it was early afternoonish.
And do you remember about how long she was gone?
It seems like it was a few hours.
And were you present when she returned?
Yes.
And you mentioned Michael Humphrey. Did you ever see him when she left and then when he returned?
No.
Look, so tell the jury what happened when Lindley returned to the spa.
When Lindley returned, I was told to go to the back. Ashley told me to go back there because Michael didn't know that I knew anything about it. So I went to the back room, which was our break room, and the door was closed.
And, well, first off, start with Lindley. She comes back in. Where do you see her go, and what is she doing?
She goes to our wet room.
And do you know if she's carrying anything, or do you remember?
I don't know.
She goes to the wet room?
Yes.
And how is her demeanor when she arrives back at the spa?
Kind of, I guess, a little nervous, I guess, but worked up, I guess.
Do you speak with her?
No.
Again, Lindley's attorney questioned her about the timing of her claims.
And you never told the police a word about this until you were given an immunity deal, correct?
Right.
So you don't know anything. You don't know what's going on. You were questioned in the winter of 2018. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what did you tell the police Lindley's involvement was on that day?
I said that I didn't know anything.
Okay. And that was the truth, right?
No, that wasn't the truth.
Rachel insisted that now she was telling the truth.
So you tell the police that Lindley was not involved, and then some time passes and you learn that Ashley Shaw has been given a proffer agreement, that she has said Lindley's guilty, and she calls you on the phone and tells you that very thing, correct?
Yes.
And so at that point, you and her have a conversation about what she told the police, correct?
No, we didn't.
Did you testify in a deposition on July 14th of 2020?
Yes.
Did you testify at that deposition that you talked to Ashley Shaw the day after she was arrested?
Yes.
So it wouldn't have come up in that conversation the day after Ashley Shaw got arrested, what she told the police. Is that your testimony?
The only thing that she said was they knew everything, so to be honest.
That's all she said?
That's all she said.
The state called Michael Humphrey. When he entered the courtroom, he looked much different than Ashley and Rachel. He was dressed in an orange Department of Corrections jumpsuit.
And where are you currently incarcerated?
Montgomery County Jail.
And why are you incarcerated there?
For the charges of murder. And
for your involvement?
Sure.
In this conspiracy?
Correct.
Michael told the court about his first interaction with Lindley Renick in over 7 years.
When they got there, what was your reaction to seeing this girlfriend of yours for the first time in 6-7 years?
Definitely caught off guard, yep.
I'm sorry?
Definitely caught off guard.
I assume you're kind of surprised?
Yeah.
He said Lindley and her friend Ashley asked him about speakers at first, but then they all went inside, and the conversation turned darker. Lindley told him she had tried to poison her husband with pills inside of a shake, but that it didn't work. She said they now were trying to find someone to shoot him.
When you heard this from your girlfriend after all these years, what was your reaction?
Initially, I thought she was just exaggerating some,
Did you respond?
I told them that was crazy. That was,
Did at some point during this conversation, did Lindley ever explain to you or give you a reason why she tried to kill her husband and why she was now seeking out somebody to shoot him?
She said that there was different physical and sexual abuse going on, yeah, like raping and,
Did she go into detail with you?
A little bit, yeah.
What did she tell you?
One thing was that he had climbed on top of her and forced himself on her in the middle of the night. Another one was that she had woke up to fingers. I don't know how you guys want to.
And I know it's unpleasant. We don't know, but go ahead and use her exact words if you remember.
To her being fingered, and she was trying to say no to it.
Did she describe any other physical or emotional abuse during this conversation, or
just that they would have different fights around the kids that would kind of turn physical-ish. I mean, push shove kind of. And
as a result of being there, did they say not that we're not only looking for somebody to shoot him, but did they ask something specific of you?
Not at that time. They just was generalizing that they wanted to try to find somebody to shoot him.
And did you give him any advice with respect to that?
I told him I was not going to be a part of that.
Michael said a few days later, he decided to go to Lindley's work and give her his handgun.
Why did you want to take that gun to her on that occasion?
From what she was describing to me, I thought she could use it in a case of, like, if she only had that option left, it'd be self-defense. Because she said she couldn't leave there, so...
So you go up there with the gun.
Yep.
Does the gun have ammo with it?
It does. It's loaded.
Okay. And so when you say it's loaded, it's got a magazine full of ammunition, and the magazine's in it.
Correct.
Is a round chamber in it?
Yes.
So all you got to do is go bang.
You got it.
He said Ashley checked him in for a massage and took him back to a room. Lindley then joined him.
Talk for a second. I give her that, explain to her that in the case of self-defense, this is, and for as long as you need it, you can have it. And she said at that point she didn't know if she could do something like that. Put it up on top of there. I did get a full body or upper body massage rather. And that was pretty much that day.
The two stayed in contact over the next few days. One of those days, Lindley and Ashley helped Michael when his car broke down. Then Lindley showed up at his house without Ashley. According to Michael, it was then that she asked him to help her kill Ben, telling him she would make it worth his time. She told him she and Ben had been fighting. When he refused, Lindley then asked if he would at least go with her so that she could safely get items from the house, so she could leave Ben. Michael said he agreed to that. On June 8th, Michael arrived at the spa. Lindley came directly out with just her purse. He saw no sign of the gun he had lended her just days before. On the way to Renick Reptiles, he had to stop for gas.
When you discover you have this fuel issue, what is Lindley's reaction?
A little put out.
And did she say why?
Not then, no. She just said...
Did she ever tell you why she was upset about you not having fuel?
Did they ever tell me? No.
But she was a little put out that she had to stop.
Right.
Who paid for the fuel?
Her debit card.
When they arrived at the snake facility, Ben was taking out the trash. Lindley lied and said Michael was there to look at the snakes. Then she took the trash from Ben and the two men walked inside the building.
He goes over to a sink that's on the left-hand side of the walkway through there or something, washes his hands, turns, and then goes down the main walkway there, talking about all the different types of snakes they have. I don't know nothing about snakes. So at the time that he's walking down through there, he gets towards basically the end of it there. She comes in the door, walks right on past me. I'm figuring she's going to go down there and talk to her husband.
And as she does this, does she say anything to you or Ben?
No.
Do you see anything in her hands?
At that time, no.
Well, and let me ask you this, were you paying attention to her?
I really wasn't. I was looking at a rack full of a lot of snakes.
Okay, tell us what happens next.
So like I said, I was looking at a whole lot of snakes. And then I heard a shot come out, which inside there was extremely loud, so I kind of ducked a little bit. I looked down through there, and she was at the end of the corridor, or whatever you want to call it, posed up like this with the gun.
And then did you say you heard more shots?
As I turned and went out the door, I thought 2 to 3 more, and then another 1 or 2 after I was outside.
You weren't counting though, were you?
I was not.
But you heard, would it be fair to say you heard several more after that initial shot?
Right.
But you turned and ran out the door?
Correct.
According to Michael, Lindley pulled the trigger all 8 times. Two years after police had spoken to Ashley Shaw and Rachel Hunt, they revisited Michael Humphrey. At that point, he had already been in more trouble for drugs. But in October of 2021, he led law enforcement to the gun that he said had killed Ben Renick.
Back when you had this relationship with her, did you ever have an occasion to shoot firearms with her?
Yeah, we had been out to the gun range a few different times.
A few different times?
Yep.
And what gun did you guys shoot when you were out there?
I had a Springfield Armory 40 caliber XD series.
And did you fire that when the two of you were together?
Yeah.
And did she fire that?
Yeah.
She's I look over, she's kind of a little bitty thing. I don't mean that mean, but she's a small girl, right?
Right.
Did she have any trouble handling that weapon?
No.
Jason Crafton with the Missouri State Crime Lab analyzed the gun and compared it with 5 casings found at the scene.
Were you able to, based on reasonable scientific certainty, make a determination whether if one or all or any number of those cartridge casings that are part of this case, those 5, were fired from that firearm that is State's Exhibit 114?
Yes, I did make a finding.
And can you tell the jury what that finding was?
That all 5 of the cartridge cases were fired in this particular pistol.
The defense only had a couple questions for him.
Sir, you work at the crime lab?
That's correct.
In Jefferson City?
Correct.
And your involvement in this case was just to test this gun to make sure certain bullets were fired from it, correct?
The bullets in the cartridge cases.
Oh, okay. Is that correct?
Yes, that's
okay. So you're not here to testify about any other aspect of this case, right?
That's correct.
Okay. You don't know who fired that gun, right?
No, I do not.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
According to the state, Lindley's motive was a financial one. The Renick's financial advisor, Lindsay Keur, told the jury about the life insurance policy.
So at the time of Ben's death on June 8th, 2017, The state of this insurance policy was that Lindley Renick, and only Lindley Renick, was to receive $1 million.
Correct.
This insurance policy wasn't in or part of any trust that Ben may have had.
Correct.
It was separate and distinct.
Yes.
She told the court that she is sure that Lindley knew she was the beneficiary.
I met with her and Ben earlier that same year in my office, and we went through what we call a summary of accounts, which just indicates all the investments and insurance policies under my management, and that was listed.
And this is face-to-face?
Correct.
Not using one of these Zoom things we got to use nowadays?
No, it was face-to-face.
You're sitting across the table and you explain to her what you just explained to this jury?
Yeah, to both of them, just how everything was set up, yes.
But Lindley's attorney claimed the money would go into the trust set up for Ben's children. And he pointed out that Lindley didn't receive any of the benefits after Ben's death.
Not a cent.
No.
Okay, and even if she's acquitted in this trial, she's still not going to get the life insurance money.
Honestly, I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
On redirect, the prosecutor asked if she's familiar with the Slayer statute, and she said yes.
And what is the Slayer statute in Missouri?
That if you are, I believe, found guilty of harming the individual, that you cannot benefit from that person's death financially.
You kill somebody and you're the beneficiary, you don't get the money.
Correct.
And so in this case, Ms. Renick, under the law, is not entitled to that money.
Correct.
And there was litigation involving her children and where that money should go, but she, at the time of Ben's death, was entitled to it as long as she didn't kill him.
Correct.
I don't have any other questions.
Briefly, Your Honor. Didn't Lindley Renick voluntarily waive any right to the life insurance?
I believe eventually she did.
Okay. By eventually, that's a yes, right?
Yes.
So she voluntarily agreed to not get any of the $1 million from that life insurance policy?
Yes.
The prosecution then rested their case.
Can you describe to this jury a little bit about Lindley's personality?
She's quiet, meek, a great mother, wife. Her family was everything.
The defense began by calling Lindley Renick's best friend since first grade, Brittany Bishop.
Would you say she was a creative person?
Very creative.
Would you describe Lindley as conflict avoidant?
Definitely.
Easygoing?
Yeah.
In her personal life, would you say Lindley is more of a leader or a follower?
In her personal life, more of a follower.
Now, being friends with Lindley since, I think you said first grade, have you ever seen her handle firearms?
No.
Have you ever known her to be violent?
No.
Brittany recalled first hearing about Ben's death.
My mother received a phone call from her coworker that something had gone over the scanner, that there was a snake attack in New Florence, Missouri, and the only person she could think of was Ben because she knew that, my best friend's husband bred snakes.
What did you do?
My mom called me to tell me she received that news and said I should get a hold of Lindley, so I called Lindley right away.
Describe how Lindley sounded, when she answered the phone.
She was in hysterics.
Did she say anything?
She said, it's Ben. I asked her, what do you want me to do? Where are you? She said she was at home. I said, okay, I'm coming.
So what did you do next?
I drove from my house to my parents'. My dad then drove me from their house in Wellsville to Lindley's property in New Florence.
When you got to the Rennick's property, what did you see?
Cops everywhere and an ambulance. And Lindley sitting in the back of the ambulance.
Was anyone with her?
Maybe a medical personnel, maybe like an EMT.
Did she appear to be in shock?
Yes, she was in hysterics.
Did you stay with Lindley pretty much that entire night?
Yes.
Brittany testified that she took care of Lindley after Ben's murder. She told the jury she stayed with her for a month.
Tell the jury what she was like.
She was a wreck. She acted as though her whole world fell apart, and it just had. So she was a wreck.
Was she eating and drinking?
We were having a hard time getting her to eat and drink. We had to force it on her.
Are you aware if she was ever hospitalized?
I took her to the hospital once after a news article had gone on stating that Ben had been shot. And she went into shock and had a panic attack, and I had to take her to the emergency room.
Despite being Lindley's best friend, she admitted Lindley had lied to her.
Now, I want to be clear about something with the jury, Brittany. Did Lindley ever tell you the full story about what had happened the day Ben died?
No.
She lied to you?
Yes.
Do you think she did that because if she had told you what would happen, you would have told her she was being stupid?
Absolutely.
And she never told you about the affairs, did she?
Nope.
But despite not knowing Lindley's darkest secrets, Brittany was convinced her best friend was innocent.
Have you spoken with anyone from Highway Patrol?
Yes.
Did you tell them that you didn't think Lindley could ever do this?
That's correct.
After calling another friend of Lindley's, the defense called her father, Lindell, to the stand.
Have you ever known your daughter to be violent?
No, opposite.
What do you mean?
Submissive.
Growing up, did Lindley have any experience with guns?
No.
Have you ever seen her shoot a gun?
Yes.
Okay, when was that?
When she was a young girl, I brought my .22 out because I only had one gun, and we lived in the country, and I had her shoot at a brush pile. Her and her sister both. I wanted them at least ways to feel a gun. And that's the only time I know if she's held a gun, and that was a .22 long rifle. It was not a pistol.
And that didn't seem to spark a lifelong interest in guns in her?
No.
He was asked what he thought about Lindley and Ben's relationship.
I thought they had a perfect relationship.
So is it safe to say that your daughter didn't tell you when she went out and had affairs with other men?
No.
Lindell described his daughter as being blank after the murder. As for Lindley's relationship with Brandon Blackwell after Ben had been killed, he said it wasn't healthy.
Did you ever have the occasion to call the police on Brandon Blackwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Why was that?
Because he would not let my daughter and my grandkids out of their house. He had them pinned. I was on the phone with my grandson, and he said, Pawpaw, Brandon won't let Mama leave. Do I need to continue?
Yes, please.
So I was like, I'm going to call the sheriff's department. And he said, oh, it's okay. He's letting us leave now. And then the next thing he says, well, now he's not. And about the third time he said he's not, I was like, I'm calling the police department right now. And then I heard Maddie say, oh, no, we're outside now. We're coming to your house, Papa.
Did Lindley and the kids eventually make it to your house?
Yes, and we did call the sheriff's department, and they did come and make a report.
The next several witnesses also spoke about this relationship, but the jury didn't get to hear them. The defense questioned multiple deputies from Boone County, Brandon Blackwell's mom, and a domestic violence advocate. The advocate, Lynette Jados, told the judge that Brandon had threatened Lindley. An order of protection was issued to protect her, and he said if she didn't drop it, he would tell law enforcement that she confessed to killing Ben.
Lynette, were you ever interviewed by Corporal Devin Faust of the Missouri Highway Patrol?
No, I was not.
Were you ever interviewed by Trooper Nathaniel Schaefer of the Highway Patrol?
No, I was not.
Were you ever interviewed by anyone from the Highway Patrol?
No, I was not.
Were you ever interviewed by anyone from the prosecutor's office?
No, I was not.
Nobody else seemed to be interested in Brandon Blackwell's threats?
No.
Brandon's mother, Gina Fowler, told the judge about a phone call from jail with her son. During the call, Brandon told her that Lindley was going to jail and that he was going to get custody of the child the two had had after Ben's murder. The judge ruled that all of this testimony was hearsay because Brandon Blackwell refused to testify without taking the Fifth Amendment. So the jury never heard any of these witnesses. But there was one more witness the jury would get to hear, Lindley Renick. When Lindley Renick took the stand, she discussed her earlier relationship with Michael Humphrey before she was ever involved with Ben.
How long did you two date?
On and off for maybe about a year. Probably maybe less than that, but it was really on and off, so.
Would you characterize your relationship with Michael Humphrey as a healthy relationship?
No.
All right. What was the main problem in that relationship?
Drug addiction.
On whose part?
Both.
Had you been addicted? Did you use drugs?
I did. So I became incredibly addicted to prescription pain pills. And for probably, 4 or 5 months. And, our relationship it was always just very toxic, but that definitely didn't make it any better. He was also taking and, just on the side selling prescription painkillers, it was just a very codependent relationship.
She said one day she realized she had no recollection of dropping her son off at daycare or driving to work, or of anything she had done that morning. It scared her, and so she called her dad and told him she and her son needed to stay with him. She eventually got all of her stuff and officially moved in with her dad.
And did you eventually become sober from painkillers?
Yeah, I just quit. It was a very rough weekend, but I was done.
After talking about her prior relationship with Michael, she then told the jury about reconnecting with Ben. They hit it off after catching up on Facebook and started dating, then got married. Lindley admitted to having affairs. There were 3 altogether. She also talked about her marriage breaking down. She said she knew it was over when Ben wanted her to give him more attention than she gave to her children.
That's not up for question for me, and that's not up for debate. And so when he started telling me that they would be fine and it would be okay if, we were at the facility and working and I wasn't, I didn't just instantly get home and rush to them, like it wasn't going to damage them. And once he started kind of trying to drive that wedge and bringing in that, like, it was wrong of me to want to spend time with them or see them over him. And I will always focus on them above anybody else.
With her marriage breaking down, Lindley told the court that she discussed getting a divorce with Ashley, not murder.
Did you ever talk with Ashley about divorce at the spa?
Yeah.
Now, I want to be clear for the jury. When you realized your marriage to Ben was over, were you and Ashley sitting at the front desk of the spa in front of 5 to 30 other people chatting about how you wanted Ben dead?
No.
What were you telling Ashley?
I was just talking to her and, we were both conversing back and forth about, like, this is a disaster and I don't know if there's any recovering from this and coming back, and I'm checked out. I can't even bring myself to, pretend to engage and be interested in these conversations and what's going on anymore. Like, I'm not here in this marriage anymore.
So you were talking about divorce?
Yes.
Lindley's attorney then asked her about the alleged poisoning. Ashley had described grinding up Percocets into a protein shake, but Lindley's version of events was quite different.
Did you or Ashley Shaw ever try to poison Ben?
No.
Was there an incident with a protein shake?
Yes.
All right. Tell the jury what actually happened.
A lady, we get people that bring in stuff for us to try all the time, whether it's, health food products or just spa and wellness products. It's pretty common for us to get energy drinks, protein shakes or protein bars, the Thrive stuff. That's a common one.
But sorry to interrupt you, but is that because the people that are offering them are hoping that you might pick up the product and sell them at the spa?
Yeah, so we sold retail, and any products that we used in services we would sell up at the front. And so there were people coming in all of the time wanting us to either become distributors for them or to put their products up for sale in the front. And so one of the clients that had been in one day had left some samples of some, protein drinks that she had for, I don't know if it was an MLM, but a company that she had. And so we just all took a couple and tried them.
Did you try the protein shake?
Yes.
Did you get sick?
Yes.
How sick?
I was violently ill. Ben was in our bathroom next to our bedroom the whole night, and we had another bathroom on the opposite side of the house, like in between. And so I was in that bathroom posted up all night.
Lindley said she spoke to Ashley about how to leave Ben.
Ben was just kind of escalating to being more and more controlling. And so Ashley's concern was that, one, that I would just never go through with it, that I wouldn't, confront him, and I would just, she said, you're not going to do it. I know what's going to happen. The spa's going to close. You're going to go back to work at Renick Reptiles with Ben and just be under his thumb again. And then you're never going to leave, and you are going to be stuck in that marriage forever. And she was definitely right. Anyway, so she, then obviously after I came into work and she had, seen bruises on my arm from where Ben had grabbed me, and I bruise really easily. So, it is what it is. But she was concerned that since Ben was getting so much more aggressive, that if I went by myself and Ben just flipped out, that I would get hurt, and she didn't want me to go alone.
She said Ashley offered to go with her, but her son's father didn't like that idea. It was then that Michael Humphrey's name came up, and so they tracked him down. The three of them shared some small talk, and then the conversation turned more serious.
And then so obviously he's like, how did you end up here? Why are you here? And, Ashley and I just kind of side looked at each other and took a deep breath and let him know that, my marriage was really just kind of falling apart, and that I wanted to go and grab some of my clothes and things for the kids and I, but that I didn't really feel comfortable going by myself, and I was wondering if he would be able to go with me just to kind of be there for, moral support and make sure that, nothing really happened. And then Ashley let him know what her concerns were with Ben, just being more aggressive and argumentative, and how she really wanted to go with me, but her boyfriend wouldn't let her. So.
And what did Michael say?
He said, he was like, yeah, that's not a problem. He said, that's the least I can do to help you out. He said, I actually just got done helping another friend of mine, move out from a similar situation, and joked about how it must just be that time of year. So.
She said at no point did she ever say she wanted Ben dead or ask Michael to kill him. On June 8th, 2017, she said she woke up, took the kids to school, and headed to the spa for work. She and Ben texted throughout the day. She agreed she was affectionate, said I love you, and sent him nude photos of herself. Her attorney asked why she would do that if she wanted to divorce him, and she said she would do stuff like that to diffuse the situations, and she wanted him to be in a good mood when she went to talk to him. She agreed she was also messaging with Michael that day. She said they had planned for Michael to come pick her up and go with her to talk to Ben. She described what happened when they arrived. She said Ben was surprised to see her, let alone see her with someone else. She said she panicked and told him that Michael was a friend of hers who wanted to buy some snakes. She then took the trash bags Ben had been holding while Ben and Michael went into the facility.
Did you have a gun with you at that time?
No.
Were you aware that Michael had a gun with him?
No.
Had you seen it on the car ride there?
No.
Did you see it in his hands or anything at that time?
No.
She said she was frantically trying to figure out how to tell Ben why she was really there.
Was really feeling like I wasn't even going to really be able to tell him, and like I need to be fully prepared to just like, Michael's going to have a snake now.
And to be clear for the jury, why were you really there?
To ask Ben for a divorce.
You weren't going to kill Ben?
No.
You weren't there for Michael to kill Ben?
No.
And you're thinking, I don't even know if I can go through with this. Michael might actually have to buy a snake.
Yes.
When she walked into the facility, she said Ben and Michael were at the sink washing their hands, normal protocol before handling snakes. And then they walked towards the baby snakes.
I walked down the aisle, and I walked up behind Michael. Ben was back around the corner, and Michael was standing kind of the way that the aisles are set up. There's just a small space to walk through to get to where Ben was, so Michael was standing right there, and I walked up right behind Michael. I'm sorry. And then Michael turned around, and I saw a gun in his hands, and then I heard shots ring out, and I screamed, and I ran outside. And then I heard more shots go off, and everything just went numb, and I remember staring at the trees, and then Michael running out of the facility and pushing me towards the car and telling me, "We have to go, Lindley, get in the car. We have to go now."
Did you have any idea did you know Michael had a gun?
No.
Did you have any idea he was going to pull out that gun and use it to shoot Ben?
No.
She said Michael then drove her to the spa. Once there, she said Ashley took over. Ashley brought her to the shower room and scrubbed her down.
And then I remember Michael coming to the door and pointing at me and telling me, "Don't tell her a fucking thing." And Ashley turned around and said, "She's going to tell me everything." And then she walked out of the room into the hallway with Michael for a little bit, and then she came back in and turned the water off and helped get a towel and dry me off, and then helped me into my clothes and shoes.
Lindley's attorney asked her about her interactions with law enforcement. Lindley admitted she lied to them repeatedly.
Were you nervous when they tested your hands for gunshot residue?
Not because they tested my hands for gunshot residue, but I was just gone and trying to just breathe through that whole thing.
Lindley, I think the question we're all wondering is, why didn't you come clean to the police that night? Why didn't you tell them that you had been there at the facility and Michael Humphrey had shot your husband?
I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to face it. And when I came in after Sam had turned Ben over and said that he was still alive, his face just looked like he had been beaten so badly. And I was just really lost on what actually did happen, because I know I saw a gun. I know I heard it. But now my husband looks like he's just been beat. And when I asked the officers what happened, they said they didn't know. And I just didn't tell them anything.
Do you regret that?
Yes.
Her lies continued for over the next 2 years. At one point, Lindley said she told Ashley she wanted to tell the police the truth. But Ashley, along with Lindley's new boyfriend, Brandon Blackwell, talked her out of it. Lindley told the jury about a fight she and Brandon had gotten into. During the fight, she said Brandon threatened to accuse her of murder if she didn't allow him access to their child. Ultimately, after another incident on September 28, 2019, Lindley filed for an order of protection against him. In the order, Lindley wrote that he planned to accuse her of Ben's murder.
Lindley, why did you tell a court, why would you tip off a court, hey, my boyfriend or ex-boyfriend is going to accuse me of murder?
Because he was threatening to accuse me of murder.
Were you afraid of anybody knowing that?
No.
Because you hadn't killed Ben, right?
Correct.
If you had actually committed this murder, would you have been telling police officers and court officers that Brandon had information on it?
No.
On cross, the prosecution questioned her actions after the murder, claiming that her calls and messages to Michael were in fact a plan to plot her husband's death. While she admitted they could fit that theory, it wasn't the truth.
At 5:15, you text the babysitter, correct?
Yes.
This is where you start texting her saying, I'm going to be a little late.
Yes.
And these are all consistent, even though you disagree, but they're consistent with you trying to cover up your involvement in this murder, are they not?
No.
They're not consistent with that?
I wasn't trying to cover up any murder.
I'm not asking you if you were, because you say you weren't. I'm asking you if they're consistent with the state's theory that you were involved in covering up this murder.
Yes, they are consistent with your theory.
The state had charged Lindley with first-degree murder. The defense, of course, was saying Lindley was absolutely innocent. But neither would get their desired outcome. On December 8, 2021, after about 6 hours of deliberations, the jury returned with a verdict. They found Lindley guilty of second-degree murder and armed criminal action. The jury recommended 13 years for the murder charge and 3 years for the armed criminal action. Judge Kevin Crane, whose name you may recognize from the Ryan Ferguson case, sentenced Lindley Renick to 16 years, as required by law. And that's all for this episode. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this case. Let me know by joining the conversation on Instagram @CourtJunkie, by tweeting me @CourtJunkiePod, or by emailing me at podcast@CourtJunkie.com. This episode was researched and written by Polly Kotowski with additions by me, Jillian Jalali. To hear these episodes without the ads and to hear additional Court Junkie bonus episodes, check out my Patreon options at CourtJunkie.com/support. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.